the only way to quieten him down. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the ordinary meeting of Council, Tuesday the 27th of March 2025, commencing at 5:30. Today marks the beginning of National Reconciliation Week, a time for us all to reflect on our shared history and journey as we are on together. This year, the theme is Bridging Now to Next. It's time to reflect on the steps we've taken towards reconciliation and to look ahead, thinking about what more we can do to create a more respectful and inclusive future. Reconciliation is something we're all part of, so let's keep listening, keep learning, and keep walking forward. Kaya, Nala Karak Nunga Khan, Khan Karak Ninjabuja. We acknowledge the traditional custodians in the lands in which we meet. Announcements by the President. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate the committee of the Give Back Get Down on another incredibly successful event held last weekend in Walpole. Over 190 people attended and a further $20,000 was raised for Walpole St John's Ambulance Subcentre. It highlights the will and capacity of our town's people to help themselves, and we gratefully appreciate all of their efforts. This weekend sees the running of the Manjimup 15,000 motocross. This event has become a standout in the events calendar, drawing attention to the Southern Forest and Valleys region, and we wish both riders and event organisers all the very best of luck. I'd also like to acknowledge the passing of Mr. Zoran Panzic. Zoran was a long-time journalist of the Manjimup Bridgetown Times and a keen follower of all things Shire, including being a member on several Shire committees. I'd also like to acknowledge the passing of Mr. Dawn, a true gentleman. Okay, attendance?
Thank you, Madam President. We have one apology that came in a little bit earlier today from Councillor Paul Omaday, who's unable to attend the meeting tonight. Other than that, there's no other approved leave of absence.
And no approved leave of absence, excellent. Declarations of interest.
Thank you, Madam President. To date, I have one declaration of a proximity interest from Councillor Darren in relation to agenda item 9.5.4, which has to do with a development application at Windy Harbour. As Councillor Darren owns a lease on adjoining the property, she has a proximity interest and she will need to leave the chamber for that agenda item and not take part in the debate or the decision making.
Thank you. Public question time. 5.1, response to public questions taken on notice. There are nil. At 5.2, public question time. So this is the time of the meeting that you can ask questions of the Shire, of Council. It's the only opportunity that you can ask questions within the ordinary meeting. You've got 3 minutes. You can ask any question. We do ask that you state your correct name and address, as this will form part of the meeting records. So would anyone like to come and ask a question? Thank you.
My name is Jack Bradshaw. I live at 60 Brixo Street, Manjimup. I have a question about the future of the protection of what's known as a rail relics in the Timber Museum. I'm a retired forester and I've got a particular interest in logging history and so forth, and I was involved in the movement of the artefacts from the old site to the new site. What we have here is a unique collection of logging artefacts that represent, in fact the only collection really that represents what was once the third largest industry in the state. So, and all of the equipment that's there is effectively irreplaceable. It simply will not be made again. For example, everything there is at least 100 years old to up to 130 years old. The loco, for example, is one of what used to be 100 different locomotives used in the industry. There are 6 left in various states of repair. We have one here. In fact, it's made up of 3 different locomotives following a crash at Northcliffe some years ago. The steam hauler is the only one in Australia. It was made in America, used in Tasmania and here, and that was it. It's the only one left. The trolleys were designed and built in Western Australia. were used here. They're unique and the only two that exist. The WIMs are not unique to WA. They were used in Europe as well, but the ones that we have here are certainly the largest that were ever built for carry, and they can easily take logs of 20 tonnes or more. So they're a gigantic machine of incredible workmanship and so forth. There were once 200 of those working in the bush. There are now about 6, and these are certainly the largest ones. All of those artefacts are vulnerable to damage in one way or another. By far the most vulnerable are the wooden artefacts, which with moisture and rot and so forth in danger of falling to bits. They are very difficult to rebuild, and it's almost inevitable the time will come when we won't even have the material to do it. We won't be able to get hardwood to do it, and the idea of trying to restore it with treated pine is just almost sacrilegious. The steel stuff will last longer, of course, but even some years ago when the artefacts were moved, they were all treated. Cost about $20,000, I think, to repaint them and all the rest of it. They're showing signs of rust as well, and so they need some degree of protection. As I say, by far the most vulnerable are the wooden artefacts, which need some kind of covering. It's nice to think that they could be out where they are, they're easier to see and all the rest of it, but they simply can't be protected that way. And the question is, can we get to some stage where we can look at protecting them with some sorts of shelters? And the only comment I have about that is that we need to look at the aesthetics of the entire set of shelters, if you like, because it could look like a dog's breakfast if they're not designed well and set up well. So that essentially is my question. Thank you.
Director of Community Services.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bradshaw. Look, we, from a staff point of view, are highly aware of the importance and the vulnerability of the objects we have within the Heritage Park. The age-old concern, of course, is trying to find the dollars to make it happen. There have been attempts over the years, but with any amount of infrastructure put in, the Shire also has to make contribution to whatever grants we receive. So it's just trying to get it to the top of the priority list at this stage, but we are working towards it.
Thank you.
Anything else anyone wants to add? Thank you. We are coming into budget. I'm sure there will be numerous requests that come from our Heritage Park Committee to ensure that that is something that we certainly take into consideration. Thanks, Mr. Bradshaw. Are there any other questions? That's it. This is your only opportunity. Okay, thank you. Mr. Wilson, you sure? Okay, just checking. Excellent. Okay. Presentation 6.1, we have petitions. There are nil. 6.2, we have presentations. The Manjimup Shire is part of the Warren Blackwood Alliance of Councils. We're a group of 5 councils that stretch from Boyup Brook, Bridgetown Greenbushes, Donnybrook Balingup, Nanup, and of course us. This is our video, which I'm going to get out of the way because my head is going to be far bigger on the screen than it is sitting here. And we certainly hope that you find the value in the video, and it shows where we are heading as an alliance. Welcome to the Warren Blackwood Alliance of Councils. Join us as we look back on our progress and forward to our shared future. The Warren Blackwood Alliance of Councils representing the Shires of Boyup Brook, Bridgetown Greenbushes, Donnybrook Balingup, Manjimup and Nannup was formed to address regional challenges through collaboration, strategy and shared vision. Together we are navigating economic transitions, delivering major regional projects and driving innovation across infrastructure, climate, trails, housing and tourism.
The Warren Blackwood Sub-Regional Growth Plan is our guiding document and one of the most important documents we hold as a region, aligning local, regional and state priorities to support development, livability and prosperity in the Warren Blackwood region.
A key initiative of the board is our Climate Alliance, a collaborative approach to addressing the growing challenges of climate change. This project focuses on building resilient communities and protecting our natural resources to ensure a sustainable future for the Warren Blackwood region. With the support of a project officer and our working group, we launched the Regional Climate Change Policy and Action Plan in 2022. The plan consolidates adaptation, mitigation, communication and advocacy work which is already underway across our member councils and provides a clear framework to guide practical, achievable actions that are tailored to our region. It lays the foundation for long-term resilience, driving coordinated efforts in climate adaptation, emission reduction and meaningful community engagement. Additionally, all 5 member local governments have signed the Alliance's Climate Change Declaration, reinforcing a united commitment to climate action and accountability. Together, we're taking coordinated action to protect our region now and for future generations.
Tourism plays a vital role in shaping both the economic strength and cultural identity of the Warren Blackwood region. We've embraced the power of collaboration and creativity to promote our stunning towns and landscapes as truly world-class destinations.
Our cornerstone tourism initiative is the Southern Forests and Valleys brand.
Progress since 2013, the regional brand brings our communities together under one shared identity, celebrating what makes each town special while strengthening the collective profile of the region. By uniting our efforts, we're not only attracting more visitors, we're also creating memorable experiences that leave lasting impressions. We're turning visitors into ambassadors who share our story far and wide. Through Southern Forests and Valleys, we're showcasing the natural beauty, culture and creativity of our towns, driving visitation across the entire region, supporting local businesses and events, and fostering sustainable tourism growth that benefits everyone. Our Southern Forests and Valleys website has become a go-to resource for visitors, reaching over 2 million views in its first 18 months. We've run multiple targeted marketing campaigns across social media, digital platforms and print, helping drive awareness and share our unique regional experiences with new audiences. The Southern Forests and Valleys brand shows how strategic collaboration can elevate regional tourism. It ensures the economic and social benefits of tourism are shared across the Warren Blackwood region, from trail towns and farm stays to iconic festivals and scenic experiences. The Southern Forests and Valleys brand is not just a logo or a tagline, it's a celebration of place, people and potential. Together, we're putting our region on the map, one unforgettable experience at a time.
Our expanding trail networks are transforming the region, showcasing our natural beauty, connecting communities and driving ecotourism and economic growth.
Across the Warren Blackwood region, local governments are investing in trails for hiking, biking, paddling and horseback riding.
From the Manjimup Trail Bike Hub and Nannup's Tank 7 Mountain Bike Park, to the Greenbushes Pump Truck, Pemberton's Arboretum dual-use trails, the Kappagup Nornalup paddle trails in Walpole, and the Donnybrook Indigenous Walk Trail, we have projects throughout the region that are establishing the Warren Blackwood as a leader in trail-based tourism.
Giving the locals more ways to explore and attracting visitors from far and wide. Nannup on the iconic Mundabitty Trail is working towards recognition as a trails town, offering more than great riding with natural beauty, trail-ready services and a welcoming community. We're not just building trails, we're creating destinations. The Alliance also manages the Warren Blackwood Stock Route, WA's longest sanctioned bridle trail. 8 equine-friendly campsites for short or longer journeys. So these efforts are connecting towns, they are boosting the local economies and they are firmly placing the Warren Blackwood on the map as a premier trail tourism destination.
Council Warren Blackwood, our member local governments are working together to tackle some of the most pressing regional challenges, from housing and infrastructure to staffing, shared services and strategic advocacy. We're not just responding, we're leading with practical solutions, collaboration and long-term planning.
Housing, childcare and workforce attraction remain some of the most pressing challenges in our region, but we're taking action. Through strategic advocacy, attracting investment and collaborating with providers, we're working to meet the evolving needs of our growing communities. At the same time, we're investing in infrastructure that enhances livability, stimulates local economies and fosters pride in place. Shared services are at the heart of our approach, from joint waste initiatives and IT services to coordinated emergency response and regional planning. By pooling our resources and expertise, we're increasing efficiency and delivering stronger outcomes for our community. Supported by infrastructure, strengthened by collaboration and united by a shared vision for the future.
This is the strength of the Alliance. 5 Shires, 1 vision. A future built on collaboration, innovation and commitment to our communities.
We are very fortunate we live in a very beautiful region of the world. Okay, deputations. Eden. Yes, thank you.
My name is Eden. I've been given a room by a lovely woman called Dorothy. Before I start, I'd like to just say a little prayer. It's the Serenity Prayer. It's the 12-step one. God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Amen. My name is Eden, and I'm homeless. I brought this situation of the homeless up back in February to Rachel Tannehill. I feel what I had to say, it may have overwhelmed poor Rachel. This is a huge problem in Manjimup and surrounding districts. So Rachel has given me the chance to speak with all of you here today. It is the whole Shire Council that is responsible, not just one person. It's too big of an issue. Being homeless, we have no options sometimes. We've got to get out of where we have had a home, may it be domestic violence, cannot afford the rent, or in a really bad space in our lives. We are stranded, we have no clothes, no shelter, no bed, no food, and nowhere to go. We just exist. There is no hope. We become the dark shadow of Manjimup. We become nothing in society. Ignore it. It may go away. The winter is on our doorstep now. It's cold, bloody cold. The cold eats into the bones, and when your bones are cold, it's very hard to get warm again. We have homeless out in the bush. We have men and women, either with children or not. There's no refuges, all full. We're told to move on. Move on, pray tell. The question is, what is the Shire Council are you going to do about it? The local election where Mr De Campo offering $1.25 million. Let me say that one more time, $1.25 million for revamping the Tigers football ground. If there is that much money allowed for a football oval, really, this actually sickens me. Nothing was mentioned about the homeless, not in the local, not in the state, and not federally. What the hell is going on? Sweep it under the carpet. No one can see it. Rumours I've heard about you guys buying an acre at Manjimup Senior High School and put dongers on the land. Has it happened yet? The town hall, it's empty, doesn't get used. Why not? Just keep your hands in your pockets, ladies and gentlemen. Are they warm? That's nice. The homeless aren't. They're freezing cold. Wood is too wet to burn now. How come is it that the Christians of Manjimup are doing as much as they can with what little resources they have? Op shops, community, volleys, binnies, and whatever op shops around the area. All is needed is a camp stretcher, a swag, a -5-degree sleeping bag. There's an empty building at the timber park. There used to be a cafe. It's empty. Town hall, empty. Shops, empty. You put new trees down the main street. How much did that cost? I just don't get it. As a group, as a team, as people who care, we need to look at this problem. Not just one person, many minds make light work. Something, ladies and gentlemen, something has to be done. Stop ignoring the situation. For myself, I feel it's actually bearing on cruelty. You've all got beautiful homes to live in, probably reverse cycle air conditioning, or a lovely warm fire in the corner of the lounge. Do you think of us as you roll over in bed to go to sleep with your electric blanket on number 2? Being homeless is soul-destroying, it's demoralising, we're unworthy, we're in a whirlpool of despair, we get sick, we get pneumonia, and we have mental health issues. The fear of not seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. There is no light. And also the big one, loneliness. I worked bloody hard for over 40 years. I paid my taxes, grade A renter, paid rent on time. I have nothing now. When we say we're homeless, we're looked at blankly, and all we hear at that statement is silence. Deafening silence. I am begging, I am pleading with you. Get your head out of the sand, get your hands out of your pocket. Work on this together, all of you, with the shops, with the town, with me, with us. Ladies and gentlemen, there's 5 nights, and I'm not saying this lightly at all, but Game of Thrones, what they say rings true. Winter is coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Eden. I don't know what to say. We are very aware, and I'm very, very aware of how tough it is, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that I'm out there in the cold sleeping. I know that there are people in cars, and they're the lucky ones because they have a car to sleep in. I know that we have some fantastic people in our towns that are taking people in, but please know that we are honestly really trying to work with state and federal government to get some housing down here. We have had our family domestic violence house has been changed into a homelessness refuge. But then that's right, and then where do you go when you've had your couple of nights there? We are 100% aware, and I'm not going to say that me going to workshops and us going to to government departments and then them telling us we are 100% as frustrated as what you are, that we turn up to these things and we tell them the same stories that the Director of Community Services has been telling them for 20 years, that we don't have enough housing. We have an empty block up near Cherry Glades that we are continuously doing workshops and bloody meetings, but getting no further, and we are just as frustrated as what you are. I understand, maybe that there are things that we can look at that, and utilising our town hall. That is something that maybe we can have a look at. I've met with someone that wanted to use a commercial kitchen, and we offered them our commercial kitchen to do the soup, the soup hut. I 100% feel for you, and know that we really are working to try and bring some sort of relief to this, but it's not a short-term thing. But you're right, we can look at this differently. We do have empty stores, and there are things that we can look at differently. So thank you very much for addressing all of us. Thank you. Does anyone else want to? You good? Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Delegate reports, we have none, and conference reports, we have none. Confirmation of the previous minutes. Councillor Ivey.
I move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting of the Council held on the 22nd of April 2025 be confirmed as a true and accurate record.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Darren. Can we put to the votes, please, councillors? All those in favour? Carried 8-0. 2 seconds.
Eden, thank you so much for telling your story today. Thank you.
Okay. Motion of which previous notice has been given. Well, that'll be me. Is the Poppy Project. A bit flustered now. I would like to move the recommendation that Council agree that the Shire of Manjimup, in collaboration with the Manjimup, Pemberton and Walpole RSL branches, identify roads within the Shire named after people who have served the country in defence services, and honour them by installing a red poppy, the symbol of remembrance, on each road sign. Is there a seconder? Councillor Ivey. Okay. All seems a bit frugal, really, after that, doesn't it? Okay, so at the Warren Agricultural Show, I had the absolute privilege of speaking to David Thomas, who is the RSL president of the City of Coburn and the immediate past president of RSL WA. He mentioned to me the project that the City of Coburn had just completed, which was the Poppy Project. It was very timely at this time that John Paddy Hemingway, a veteran, aged 105, had just passed away. His death marked the end of the era for the veterans of World War II. The sacrifices that were made by these people must not be forgotten. And in a way that could be a simple symbolic gesture, the names of our local service people will be forever recognised for what they gave up so that we can have so much. In working with Manjimup RSL Secretary Ted Middleton, 20 street names have been recognised within Manjimup. By working with Pemberton and Walpole RSL, we can identify further families' names throughout our entire Shire. The respect that is held for all return service people is shown by the sheer number of people that continue to turn up at dawn services, Anzac Day, Remembrance Day, and Vietnam Vets Day. To be able to acknowledge our local family veterans' names every day, it's just respect. I urge you to support this motion to investigate, identify, and cost the placing of a red poppy, the symbol of remembrance, onto street signs that were named in honour of war veterans as an everyday reminder of the sacrifices they made so that we can live in a free and privileged life. Are there any other speakers? Shall we put it to the vote then, councillors? All those in favour? Thank you. Carried 8-0. Thank you. Okay. Officers' reports. Are you ready, Mr. Conway? Mr. Conway is our Acting Director of Works who's been given the whiteboard pen this meeting. He has the very important job of taking out any of the agenda items that councillors wish to debate. So, Office of the CEO, 9.1.1, review of council committees, is absolute and taken out. 9.1.2, review of council policy 2.6.1, work health and safety. 9.1.3, proposed register of delegations, authorisations and appointments, is absolute and taken out. 9.1.4, organisational cultural survey and training. 9.1.5, business unit planning. Finance and administration. 9.3.1, monthly statement of financial activity, March 2025. 9.3.2, Shire financial payments for August 2025. Oh, sorry, March. Gosh, that was wishful thinking. 9.3.3, proposed budget review adjustments, 31st of March 2025, is absolute and taken out. 9.3.4, adoption of material variance percentage 2024-25 financial year. Statutory planning. 9.5.1, proposed advertising of draft local planning policy 6.1.25, exemptions and proposed rescission of local planning policy 6.1.24, planning precinct exemptions, is absolute and taken out. 9.5.2, review of local planning policy 6.1.2, advertising of planning proposals. 9.5.3, consideration of proposed content of local planning strategy 2040. 9.5.4, proposed screen in brackets wind and privacy at site 516 Richards Close, Windy Harbour, has declaration of interest and taken out. 9.5.5, delegated planning decisions April 2025. 9.5.6 has been withdrawn. Environmental health services. 9.8.1, proposed new policy, temporary accommodation in caravans and tiny homes on wheels. Community and recreation services. 9.9.1, request budget adjustment, successful lotteries West Pemberton, Grant Pemberton Community Hub, Ballet Maya and Little Taddies, is absolute. 9.9.2, Manjimup Ray Park and Collier Street redevelopment project, proposed funding and preparations for stage 2. Taken out, thank you. Technical services. 9.12.1, budget amendments for successful grant application Regional Airports Development Scheme 25 to 27 is absolute. 9.12.2, Diamond Resource Recovery Facility Feasibility Report 2025. Works. 9.13.1, Main Road WA Regional Road Safety Program, Local Roads Tranche 2, funding proposal. Advisory committees. 9.16.1, unconfirmed minutes of the Manjimup Heritage Park Advisory Committee meeting held on the 11th of March 2025. It's taken out. 9.16.2, unconfirmed minutes of the Reconciliation Action Plan Advisory Committee meeting held on the 7th of March 2025. 9.16.3, unconfirmed minutes of the Access and Inclusion Advisory Committee meeting held on the 13th of March 2025 is taken out. 9.16.4, unconfirmed minutes of the Road Infrastructure Advisory Committee meeting held the 29th of April 25 is absolute. 9.16.5, unconfirmed minutes of the Plant Replacement Committee meeting held 29th of April 2025. Is listed as absolute, but it's not. It's not, no. You want it out then? Yep, sorry. Sorry, Andrew, we're leaving it in. Thank you. I mean, we're taking it out. 9.16.6, unconfirmed meeting minutes of the Walpole Town Activation Advisory Committee meeting held the 10th of April 2025. Okay. Does someone want to adopt those, please? Well done, Andrew. Well, Mr Conway, Acting Director of Works and Services, in fact. Thank you, Councillor Ivey.
I move that Council adopt the recommendations contained in the Council officers and committee reports on pages 1 to 125 of the agenda, with the exception of those on the board.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Wilcox. Can we put that to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? It's carried 8-0. Okie doke. Page 10, 9.1.1, review of council committees.
I'd like to move, as per the office recommendations, but with the minor amendment, which may have some consequence. Instead of point 3, substitute the first sentence to read, direct the CEO to consult with the following affected committees with a proposal to disband them prior to the ordinary election in October 2005 and bring recommendations back to council.
Is there a seconder for the amended motion? Councillor Ivey? Councillor Winfield, did you want to speak to the motion?
The point is that I've been contacted by some of these affected committees, and they're making the point that there's been no consultation, so I think it's valid that they are consulted before we disband them.
Thank you, Councillor Winfield. Councillor Ivey?
Yeah, I agree, and we also need to explain the ramifications of not having councillors voting and everything on the committees and everything as well, so we need to really discuss that with the committees.
So is there any speakers against the amended motion? All good? Shall we put it to the vote then, councillors? This is for the amended motion. All those in favour? Carried 8-0. All good. Okay, 9.1.3, page 22, proposed register of delegations, authorisations and appointments. Councillor De Campo.
Thank you, Madam President, and welcome back to the table, councillors. It's good to see you all again. I'd like to resolve to move that Council, in accordance with section 5.421 in brackets of the Local Government Act of 1995 and other acts as designated, to approve the delegation of powers and duties in accordance with the Register of Delegations, authorisations and appointments, including council appointed officers in brackets as attached at attachment 9131 in brackets, with an amendment that part E of the council conditions within delegations 1.1.2 be modified to delete the wording council can be informed of any legal proceedings initiated, and replaced with the wording any decision to initiate legal proceedings is not delegated and must be made by the council. And point 2, note that the Chief Executive Officer subdelegates powers to employees of the Shire Administration as appropriate.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Darren. Councillor De Campo, did you want to speak to?
Thank you. Just quickly, by way of explanation, we ran through the authorised delegated powers that the CEO has to be able to subdelegate on Tuesday, and out of that, this was born that potential legal stoushes may not come to this chamber before being initiated by the CEO in relation to the Local Government Act, and so it's just tidying up that. Other than that, the Register of Delegations is perfectly, there's not a lot of changes to it, and it's perfectly meaningful as to how the CEO can run the business. So I urge you to support the motion.
Councillor Darren, are there any speakers against the amended motion? Shall we vote on it then, please, councillors? All those in favour? Carried 8-0. Page 39, 9.3.3, proposed budget review adjustments, 31st of March 2025. Someone like to move it? Councillor De Campo.
Recommendation.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Ivey. Councillor De Campo, did you want to speak to the motion? Councillor Ivey, are there any other speakers? Put it to the vote, please, councillors. All those in favour? Carried 8-0. Thank you. Page 45. 9.5.1, proposed advertising of draft local planning policy 6.1.2 6.1.25 exemptions and proposed rescission of local planning policy. 6.1.24 planning precinct exemptions. Councillor De Campo.
Thanks, Madam President. I'd like to move that Council 1 adopt the officer's recommendation with the following amendments to be made prior to the draft policy 6.1.25 being released for advertising. The amendments are to include 1.1 exemption of water tanks with a capacity no greater than 40,000 litres. 1.2 the deletion of clause 15 referencing the agriculture extensive land use contained within table 2. 1.3 amending the conditions of clause 6 of table 5 to read 1.3.1 the tail of the dam can traverse a property boundary where both properties are owned by the same landowner, and 1.3.2 the toe of the dam wall is set back 5 metres or greater from a property boundary where the dam wall height is less than 15 metres in height. 1.4 exemption of all development and changes of use as listed in clause 61 of the deemed provisions where this is located within a heritage protected place only by virtue that it is included in the Heritage Council of Western Australia's Heritage Assessment Program. And 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to revise the wording of the policy to incorporate items 1 to 1.4 above.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Darren, thank you. Councillor De Campo.
Thank you. This is just cleaning up what is actually happening on the ground in real time in most cases. When we discussed this on Tuesday, the reality is a water tank of about 40,000 litres is 4 metres by 4 metres and can fit in a residential block that's of decent size. So you can have from 5,000 to 40,000 litres, which then gives some significance to being able to actually maybe potentially water your garden or supplement your summer watering with that size water tank. So it gives that option. The second point, in fact, takes extensive agricultural land use out completely. It is a reality now that we are silent on this within the scheme and that farmers potentially would have had to have informed council for a change of use from, say, potatoes to cauliflowers and cauliflowers to broccoli and broccoli to corn and whatever else. This takes that out, which means that farmers aren't breaking our planting laws each year annually when they grow a crop. The toe of the dam one, the dams, as we know, have been in this chamber every time a dam is proposed. What this does is takes it out of the chamber and gives an as of right use at a 5 metre buffer zone to a 15 metre wall height. And it also, there's been circumstances within the Shire where a farmer has built a dam on his 2 properties that have 2 titles, and we've asked them to put in for a development application just because it traverses the 2 titles. That tidies that up. The reality is every dam that's come in front of this chamber has been approved. And so what this does is frees up staff time to do the nuts and bolts stuff rather than having to bring reports to council. And of course the exemption of all development and change of use listed is in relation to a couple of incidents we've had where, you know, a Pilates studio has gone into what was a storage facility or a shop and has had to come in front of us or to staff for a change of use. And there was, of course, the famous one that my esteemed councillor next to me would know about is the recycling, changing an industrial lot from one industrial lot to another industrial lot but needing a change of use. So all it does is tidies it up, frees staff time up for what they really should be doing and applying that to the areas they need to be applying it to. So I urge you to support the motion.
Thank you. Councillor Darren. Are there any other speakers? We'll put it to the vote, please, councillors. All those in favour? It's carried 8-0. Thank you. Page 60, 9.5.4, Councillor Darren. Thank you. Proposed screen, in brackets, wind and privacy, at site 516 Richards Close, Windy Harbour. Councillor De Campo.
As per officer's recommendation.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Ivey. Councillor De Campo. Councillor Ivey. Are there any other speakers? All good? Excellent. Can we put that to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? Carried 7-0. Where are we? Page 80. Oh, we're zipping through here. Thank you, Councillor Darren. 9.9.1, request budget adjustment, successful lotteries West Grant, Pemberton Community Hub, Ballymeyer and Little Taddies. Is there a mover for that, please? Councillor Ivey.
I move as per the officer's recommendation.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Ventress. Councillor Ivey, did you want to speak to the motion? Councillor Ventress, are there any other speakers? Can we put it to the vote then, councillors? All those in favour? Carried 8-0, thank you. Where are we up to? 83. 9.9.2, Manjimup Ray Park and Collier Street redevelopment project, proposed funding and preparations for stage 2. Councillor Darren.
I'd like to move as per the officer's recommendation with a small amendment to point 4 that says agree to revegetate up to 0.91 hectares as required within the Ray Park in Collier Street Reserve and assure that the planted vegetation will be managed to ensure its long-term survival and that there is a low risk of the vegetation being cleared in the future.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor De Campo. Councillor Darren, did you want to speak to the motion?
Yes, so the amendment is just reflecting that there is a possibility that the number of trees that do need to be removed may be less than originally applied for, and this just gives us scope that if it is less, that we can make that request that we do a smaller revegetation to maintain that land, that cleared land for future revegetation, and we don't back ourselves into a corner. Otherwise, I strongly support the officer's recommendation and would love to see us continue forward on this project to keep moving through stage 2.
Thank you. Councillor De Campo. Okay, are there any other speakers? Excellent. Can we put that to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? Is carried 8-0. Thank you. Over the page. 9.12.1, budget amendment for successful grant application, Regional Airports Development Scheme 25-27. Is there a mover? Councillor Mylan.
I move as per the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Winfield. Councillor Mylan, did you want to speak to the motion? Councillor Winfield. Are there any other speakers? Can we put it to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? Carried 8-0. Thank you. Let's see. With 0. Excellent. 103. Okay, 9.16.1, unconfirmed minutes of the Manjimup Heritage Park Advisory Committee meeting held on the 11th of March 2025. Councillor Darren.
I'd like to move as per the officer's recommendation, but with removing point 4.
Is there a seconder to that amendment? Okay, Councillor De Campo. Councillor Darren.
I would like to remove point 4, and I don't want that to be any sort of reflection on the validity of that point. I do think we should consider the seed funding for the protection and preservation of the heritage items. I'm just conscious that the more that we include these things within the minutes, there is already point 1, which is to receive the unconfirmed minutes. It is within those minutes, so we are confirming that we are receiving those. We're acknowledging that there has been that request. I just think sometimes when we're getting close to budget time in particular, that we should consider these things in the budget discussions rather than putting it into a resolution and then almost feeling like we are cornering ourselves a little bit into making these decisions because we've already had a resolution to say that we would consider it. It doesn't necessarily, in my mind, it doesn't necessarily open up opportunities to really discuss these things in terms of our broader priorities and how they fit. Because, yes, we have already made a resolution indicating that we would support it. So it's not to say that it's not a good project and that I wouldn't support it. I certainly do not want that being indicated. I would just like to keep our resolutions nice and tidy and not have these things in, keep it within the minutes. We've accepted those and absolutely have that discussion when we get to budget, hopefully in the next few weeks. Otherwise, I'd like to accept the rest of the...
Thank you. Councillor De Campo. Are there any other speakers? Councillor Ivey.
I'd like to speak against that. We actually raised this issue at the Heritage Park meeting because this has been a priority that just keeps getting pushed aside because there's always other things that are more important. But as Mr Bradshaw pointed out before, these heritage items are irreplaceable and we need to start preserving them and making sure that they can last into the future.
Thank you, Councillor Ivey. Are there any other speakers for? Any other speakers for? Any other speakers? Councillor Mylan.
I'd like to speak against the amended motion there to delete point 4. As Councillor Darren pointed out, materially it probably doesn't make any difference in a sense of whether we will consider this or not, because we consider everything at budget time. However, I think the Heritage Park Group have made a good point here, and having it in here just adds maybe perhaps a little bit of weight. I don't think it really influences our decision. I don't know whether it cleans up anything at all. It's just another valid point, I think, for us to consider.
Any other speakers? Councillor de Campo.
I would like to speak for the motion. Whilst was slightly shocked with the withdrawal of the motion, I do agree that we do paint ourselves into a corner with our advisory committees in relation to potentially putting funding into the budget. And I don't disagree with Councillor Ivey's sentiment that yes, we do need to make sure that we respect the views of our advisory committees. However, the budget process is the budget process, and I mean, we have no solid costings, we have no plans, we don't have anything to go on other than a figure of 50,000. So when we come to budget, is that right or not? It's just the way you're looking that might not be. No? Okay.
Continue.
So I think that as a part of the budget process, we should have a much broader look at this. But painting ourselves into a corner through advisory committees has been something in the past that we have had happen. And so I do agree with Councillor Darren that to bring this as a part of our budget deliberation.
Question? Councillor Ivey.
Do we already have costings from previous plans to do this?
Director of Community Services.
Yes, we've had costings for a number of years. If I might add, in all fairness to council, the priority of the requests in the past simply haven't been greater than all the other priorities. So it's not that council have actually necessarily made those decisions. It's not really been brought to council. But yes, there are plans and there has been costings.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other speakers? Councillor Winfield.
I'll speak against the amended motion, just on the basis that point 4 does say consider allocating, so I don't think it's binding in any way.
Thank you, Councillor Winfield. Question?
Can I foreshadow returning to the original?
Thank you, Councillor Ivey. Okay. Can we please put the amended... Oh, sorry, yes. Councillor Darren, did you want to close?
I do. So I certainly don't think it binds us, and I'm certainly not indicating that. It does say consider, but I think maybe some of the things that have been said in terms of voting against this kind of indicate the exact point that I'm making, is that we are putting ourselves in a position that we're saying we do support this and we do want to push this forward, and that isn't actually the point. The point is that, yes, I understand that maybe this has been pushed back, but that is the nature of budget. We have to put these into priority, and if we're making decisions in this chamber now for next year's budget, elevating something above other things before we know what those other things are, that is my exact point as to why we shouldn't have this in here, that everything has to be seen on its merits. That's not to say that this doesn't have merit, it's just I don't know yet what all of those other things are, and I think the fact that we are even talking about ensuring that we elevate these things is a clear sign as to why we need to just be very, very careful with where we go. So I would encourage you to support the motion. However, I do understand the sentiments and I don't necessarily disagree. I do recognise that these are really important relics and that we do need to think about the future of them, but we also have a lot of other priorities as well, and I'd like to be able to discuss that, particularly when we are so close to budget time. I think we have that opportunity in the next few weeks and we should probably just take it then.
Thanks, Councillor Darren. Can we put the amended motion to the vote, please? All those in favour of the amended motion? And against? Okay, so we go back to the foreshadowed. No, we don't. We're sticking. Right, done. Carried 5-3. Thank you. The amended. You got all the names? Okay. Page 111. That is where we are, aren't we? Yes. 9.16.3, unconfirmed minutes of the Access and Inclusion Advisory Committee meeting held on the 13th of March.
As per the officer's recommendation.
Is there a seconder? Councillor De Campo. What am I doing, Wayne? Councillor Ivey, did you want to speak to Councillor De Campo? No. I have an amendment to that motion. Okay, so then I move that points 1 to 4 remain the same as per the officer's recommendation. Point 5 be amended to not support the appointment of Jennifer Wilcox to the vacant community representative position. A new point, point 6.
Sorry, Madam President, I'm not sure if we're on that agenda or am I?
Access and inclusion.
I thought we were on
9.16.3.
16.4.
No, 3. Sorry, I took that one out.
That's my bad.
Sorry, that's all right.
I missed that one.
Sorry. Okay, new point, point 6, be included to direct the Chief Executive Officer to publicly advertise the vacant community representative position, and amend point 6, which is now point 7, as follows: amend the proposed term of reference for the Access and Inclusion Advisory Committee as per the attachment 9.16.3 in brackets 1 to reflect point 5 and 6. Basically, this comes down to, this recommendation was part of these minutes. It's a...
Would you like to get a second?
Oh, sorry, can I have a seconder to that amended motion? Thank you, Councillor De Campo. This is really, it's just a process thing. As part of the committee meeting, it was brought to my attention that we took a community member off, we delegated a community member on. I feel that should have gone out to advertising, gone out to the broader community that wanted to come in to that committee. Certainly isn't a reflection of the dedication that Councillor Wilcox has. So there's nothing to come out of that, but and I think that it will all come out in the wash with the first agenda item that we came. It's purely a procedure amendment. Councillor Ventris.
I have a question. Given that it's now virtually the start of June and we only go through to October, and I'm not sure that we've even got a meeting scheduled between now and October, we may or may not, and so by the time we advertise, which is a month, and then we come back to council, you know, we're heading towards October, so I think it could be just a waste of advertising dollars potentially to find somebody that's going to be on for at best one meeting. So given that difficult situation, so my question is, how many meetings have we got to go, and does it close in October?
One before October. So we'll have one meeting before October.
Okay, can I speak against?
Against, yep.
I'd speak against the amended motion based on that fact that for advertising and for one meeting, I'd like to go back to officer's recommendation, which, has that been foreshadowed?
No.
Yeah, I'd like to foreshadow the...
So it's only an amendment.
The amendment, so I'd like to foreshadow the officer's...
You don't have to.
Okay, all right.
I've got a question.
Yeah. Question?
Yeah. I understand the sentiment and due process seem to be done, and I think that is important. However, my question is there a particular way that we have to advertise this position? Can it be done through a social media something, or do we have to do a newspaper advertisement and give so many days or something?
Any idea? Director of Services? Can we just do it in social media? We don't.
The answer is I'm not sure. It would be in the typically it's addressed in the terms of reference, which I don't have handy right in front of me. I think from memory I've seen adverts go into the local newspapers, into like the Walpole Weekly, the public notices section, and typically they are put on the website, and sometimes we put them on social media as well.
Councillor De Campo. Question?
Are we better off not just leaving this position vacant then if it's one meeting we're going to, rather than confusing everyone and doing...
I'm happy to take...
Are you happy as the...
I'm happy to take out and just leave that point 5 be amended, and then we take out the new point so that we don't advertise, so that we just do that. Councillor Ivey, question?
Does anyone remember how many times we've made quorum in the past 2 years?
What do you want to do? Because
just leave it vacant.
I've got another question. Would Councillor Wilcox, or any person for that matter, be able to attend this meeting as a member of the Shire of Manjimup, just as an observer and
yes,
participant but non-voting?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what anyone can do that at any time.
Yep.
President, could I suggest that, as the seconder of the amendment, that we change the amendment to leave the position vacant for that committee member?
I accept that. Yep. Councillor Darren.
I feel like Mr. Simeon might have an answer to this one. We had a discussion around councillors being community members on committees, and I was under the impression that that wasn't something we wanted to do or couldn't do, but I don't remember. So my question is, can we do it? Should we do it? What was that discussion that we had? Because I don't remember.
Thank you, Councillor Darren. The recommendation going forward is that where elected members are on committees, they're there representing the council and not as community members. If an elected member is on a community committee, whether it's a sporting group or CWA or I don't know, the Chamber of Commerce, they're there representing their own personal interests and not the council's interest. Yeah.
Any other questions? Councillor De Campo.
I actually support your amendment, actually, so I withdraw my support to not to leave it vacant because, well, and can I speak to that, please?
Yep.
Look, we're here to make decisions, and the reality is we have decided we don't want councillors representing community as councillors on these committees, and we've actually made a decision in today's agenda to reduce the amount of committees, and we've already spoken, and Councillor Ivy's spoken about how many meetings have had a quorum of this. Would have been nice to know that, by the way, but anyway, that's by the by. So let's make the decision, and if it costs a couple $100 to go and advertise it, then that's what we're here to do. Let's stop not making decisions because it's easier. This community person might be the community person that continues on as that representative into the new committee post-October. So I urge you to support the amendment and let's just get on with business instead of going, oh, well, maybe not. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we better not because it might cost us $2 to advertise it out of a $40 million budget. I mean, seriously, let's fill the position. Let's stick to what we've chosen to do in a previous motion and let's get on with business. So I urge you to support the amendment to the motion.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
I'll speak in favour of it, please. Yeah, I'll speak in favour of it and also point out that just because you support it, right, you can, picking up Councillor De Campo's point there, is that we should, just because we make a decision, it doesn't mean we're not making, I'm trying to get my argument straight. The idea that we're not making decisions when we put something in or out is incorrect. We're making decisions whether we decide to do something, go back on a decision we've made before, that's still making decisions.
Thank you, Councillor Marlin.
Makes sense?
Completely.
Very bold, very bold.
Okay, just other question?
Just to clarify from what you were explaining, the reason for doing this is because it was not advertised that a decision was made internally and that there wasn't an opportunity given to the public to nominate.
Yes, thank you. Can I just close? And I'll just, yes, exactly that. This is certainly not against Councillor Wilcox being on the committee. That certainly has nothing to do with it. It's about the procedure of how this was done. It didn't go out to the community to be advertised. And I think that's the important part of having community representation on these committees. So I do urge you to please support the proposed amendment. Councillors, can we put that to the amended motion to the vote, please? All those in favour? Thanks, Jen. Carried 8-0. I know. Who'd have thought that was going to be the long one? That's the amendment. That's the amendment. Oh, now we need to go back to the substantive motion.
Councillor Ivey moved it.
Councillor Ivey? No, why are we doing that?
Councillor Ivey moved the motion.
Oh, the original motion, yes. Councillor Ivey, did you want to speak to... Yeah, no. Wade? Councillor De Campo? It's been a long night already. Can we put that to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? 8-0, thank you. Right, that's a substantive. Right, let me write that down. Good grief. 1:15, we're nearly there. Okay, oh no, we're not. 9.16.4, unconfirmed minutes of the Road Infrastructure Advisory Committee meeting held on the 29th of April 2025. Councillor Ivey?
I move as per the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Ivey, did you want to speak to the motion? Councillor De Campo, thank you. Are there any other speakers? Can we put it to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? Good grief, 8-0. Thank you very much. Nearly there, people, nearly there. Oh no, we're not. 9.16.5, unconfirmed minutes of the Plant Replacement Committee meeting held on the 29th of April 2025. Councillor De Campo.
Thank you. I'd like to move as per officer recommendation with a slight amendment. It is one that Council received the minutes of the Plant Replacement Committee meeting held 29 April 25, showing the attachment 9.16.51 in brackets. 2, approve the proposed plant replacement schedule for the 25-26 to, does that say 35-30? Yeah, 35-36 attached for Council to consider as a part of its 25-26 budget deliberations, as shown in attachment 9.16.5.2 in brackets, with the exception of the John Deere grader replacement, and I would give you the plant number if I could read it on page 411, but I think we know which one we're talking about. And add a point 3, discuss the grader replacement as a part of the 25-26 budget deliberations.
Thank you, Councillor De Campo. Right. Councillor Ivey, did you move that? No. Seconder? Councillor Mylan? Just not yet. Not yet. Councillor De Campo.
Thank you, Madam President. As a part of our previous meeting, in fact, this is most likely a committee that will be disbanded in the future. However, as a part of our meeting only a few weeks ago, it's established that this particular grader is only doing 7 hours a week. And I think as a part of our budget deliberations, we need to work out whether that at 8,000 hours, and that particular machine is at about 8,885 hours currently, those machines can go out to over 10,000 hours, and it's 7 hours a week. We need to work out as a council if we're getting the best value for money out of our 3 graders, and the only way to do that is through the budget process. So I'm sure that this will come back as a part of the new director's brief leading into budget, where greater efficiencies, greater usage, and whether we are in fact buying the correct graders for use. There are generally only 2 graders that Shire's buy. It's either a Caterpillar or a John Deere. Most have got John Deeres, in fact, because they're probably 300,000 cheaper. But are we getting best value for money when, in fact, John Deere itself says that they should be replaced at about 6,665 hours? So I want to pull that out, and I want to make sure that we have a broader discussion about our usage of graders, particularly given that at every road that we go on at the moment, there's probably a pothole on it, although you are catching up, Mr Acting Director of Works and Services, so congratulations on that. That's the reason for pulling this out, and I urge you to...
Councillor Mylan?
Support the motion too.
Thank you.
I think it's great that we are considering a budget item that the Plant Replacement Committee has asked us to consider, even before we've considered all of the other budget items that we're going to be considering. Unlike when we had another motion earlier this evening, when it was suggested that we shouldn't have any reference to considering items in budgets put forward by any other committee. And I commend this one to you, and I actually also commend Councillor De Campo's amendment.
Thank you. Are there any speakers against? I'm not sure where it was going. Are there any others? Are there any speakers against? Are there any other speakers? Can we put it to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? Carried 8-0. Thank you. Okay. All right. Nearly there. Item 10, late reports. There are none. 11, questions from members. So response to the question from members taken on notice, which was from Councillor Ventris. Do you require me to read that, Councillor Ventris? Are you happy with that response? Thank you.
Sorry. Not happy with that response, but I'm happy that my question's been responded to.
Thank you. Fair point. Thank you. 11.2, questions from members. Nope, thank you. 12, motions for the consideration at the following meeting. So that Council, in accordance with Regulation 10 of the Local Government Administration Regulations, 1996 and Clause 16.2 in brackets 2 of the Shire of Manjimup Standing Orders Local Law 2013, 1, revoke parts 2 and 3 of the decision made on the 7th of December 2023 in respect of a proposed development at Lot 100 Etherington Road, Beedler. Council Resolution 29377, revoke the decision made on the 18th of January 2024 to authorise the CEO to proceed with legal action against the owners of Lot 100 Etherington Road, Beedler, in brackets Council Resolution 29420. 3, request that the CEO prepare a report for the later consideration of the Council to enable the Council to make a decision on the planning application for the 4-room transportable building. And 4, request that no further action be taken in respect of the direction notice dated 12th of January 2024 relating to the 2 dwellings on the property unless a direction is given to that effect by the decision of Council. That will be considered at the next meeting. 13, new business of an urgent nature introduced by the decision of the meeting. Nothing to do with budget, thankfully. 14, thank you, kind people, for coming. We do have one more matter to consider, which is a confidential. So thank you all very much for coming. I'm going to ask you to leave the chambers. If you really want to, you can hang about outside till we come back, but it's cold. So thank you all very much for coming. Please feel free to come again. Councillor De Campo.
I'd like to move that we go behind closed doors to consider this matter.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Ventris. All those in favour? Carried 8-0. That down. Yeah, we're not mucking around.
We haven't flipped the coin yet, but he's outlining your reason.
We're going to do rock, paper, scissors.
Be careful what you wish for.
Alrighty, councillors, are we back on? Okay. Councillors that carried 8-0, that the officer's recommendation that council endorse the midterm KPI reporting regarding the chief executive officer performance as attached. 2, adjust the following performance measurement timeframes. 2.1, performance measure 1.1, growth plans from September 25 to March 26. 2.2, performance measure 8.1, delegations register from April 25 to May 25. 3, release this resolution in the meeting minutes. Thank you, councillors. Okay. Applications for leave of absence. Excellent. There being no further business, I wish to thank those in attendance and close the meeting at 6:47.